Question 3. Discount allowed of $7,840 has not been posted from the cash book to the ledger. When we say that discount allowed of $7,480 has not been posted from the cash book to the ledger, what it means is that some part of these entries has been made in the cash book and part of it has not been transferred to the ledger. Usually when we make sales to customers or make sales for cash, the accounting entry is that the total sales made will be credited in the sales account and the cash book will be debited for receiving the cash. The cashier will be debited for receiving the cash from sales, while the sales account will be credited for being the reason why the cash came out. That is, the sales account is the giver. If discount is involved, for instance, goods were sold for cash with discount of a particular percentage, the accounting entry in the sales account still remains the same. The total sales made will be credited to the sales account. However, in the cash book, the amount the cashier will receive will be less than the sales made since discount is involved. This means that in the cash book, there should be a column for discount allowed and the actual cash received. Now, what this question is actually trying to tell us is that the cash part of these transactions have been posted, while the discount part of the transaction has not been posted to discount allowed account. Let's see this explanation on the board. Let's take for instance that the sales that was made in this transaction is sales of 70,000 by cash. Now, immediately sales is made, the total value of sales made will be credited to the sales account since the sales account is the giver. Sales made the money to come out, so sales is the giver. Now, sales have been credited with 70,000 and it is cash or bank, for instance. What it means is that the destination of this money is to the cash book. Therefore, if the cash book is open, the cash book will be debited with $70,000 since sales is the giver and the cashier or the cash book is the receiver of the cash. Now, but in this question, we assume that there was a discount. The discount is a discount of 7,840. And if you deduct 7,840 from 70,000, which represents the actual sales made, the balance will be $62,160. However, because discount existed, the cashier was debited with $22,160, while 7,840 is the discount allowed. If you add these two figures, it will give you back $70,000. However, because there have been a credit entry, there must be a corresponding debit entry of 70,000 before the account will balance. Now, on the credit side of the trial balance, it will recognize this 70,000. The question reads that discount allowed of 7,840 has not been posted from the cash book to the ledger. Now, a discount allowed account will be opened and debited with 7,840. So that once the trial balance recognizes this 7,840 on the debit side of the discount allowed account and also recognize the debit on the cash book 62,160, the combination of these two debits in cash book and in discount allowed account, that is 7,840, will now make up for a corresponding credit entry of 70,000 in sales account. That is 70,000 credited to sales, and these two figures, this credited to cash book and this credited to discount allowed, makes up this 70,000. Then the trial balance will balance. But the question states that this 7,840 has not been posted from the cash book to the ledger. Which ledger are they talking about? Discount allowed ledger account. Now, so when we are correcting this error, what we do is to place the 7,840 on the debit side of the discount allowed, which is the appropriate place for it. And how do we correct it? Since no record has been previously made, when we open discount allowed account, we raise a suspense account 7,840. And with this, it means that the discount allowed account will be what? Debited with 7,840, while the suspense account will be credited with 7,840. And our correction begins from there. But the question is this: what is the implication of the debit side of the discount allowed account not being debited with 7,840? When the discount allowed, when the debit side of an account is reduced, what it means is that the debit side is now less by 7,840. And remember that I told you that once the debit side of an account is reduced as a result of error, what it means is that the credit side of the trial balance has increased, or the credit side of the account has increased, because when this debit is not here, it is supposed to be here because the credit entry has been recognized at the credit side. So once it is not here, this transaction has succeeded in increasing the credit side. Since the debit side that is supposed to recognize a value that has already been credited did not recognize it. Therefore, the debit side of the account is reduced. And once the debit side of an account is reduced, that means the credit side has increased. So to correct this account, we have discount allowed, we raise the suspense 7,840. Now we now have discount allowed, the error corrected, suspense account 7,840. This is the account we are focusing on. These two accounts are not required in these transactions. I have just used the cash book. As you can see, we have date, particulars, folio, discount allowed, cash, and bank. I used one figure to represent it here. So this column is representing either cash or bank. And this I will also have date, particulars, folio, discount received, cash, and bank. So I've drawn the three column cash book here to demonstrate how this question 3 was drawn, so that you can be clarified. I have drawn this cash book and this sales account. In your examination, you don't need these two. But I've taken an imaginary figure 70,000 to represent a cash sales that resulted to this discount. We do not really know how much was the cash sales, but I assume these two figures to enable you understand what the examiner actually required. The examiner stated that discount allowed of 7,840 has not been posted from the cash book to the ledger. Therefore, we post it to the ledger by transferring the 7,840, which will make up the shortage on the debit side of this account, to the discount allowed account. Of course, discount allowed account is an expenses account and it's usually debited. So because discount allowed is a debit account, we have already debited the 7,840 to make sure that the debit side of the account now has the 7,840 shortage, so that the trial balance will balance. Now, usually when we do this, we raise a suspense account. So in discount allowed, we are making the correction at the debit side, and so it is through suspense. So what this means is that in our journal entry, the discount allowed account will be debited, since it's on the debit side here, 7,840, while the suspense account will be credited with 7,840. So if you go to the suspense account now, this 7,840 will be credited to the suspense account, and this is its position here. But the logic behind it being credited is that the previous 7,840 not recorded has reduced the debit side, and as such has made the credit side of all the transactions to increase. Therefore, the increment is on the credit side and has to be placed on the credit side of the suspense account. So the first thing we do here is to record discount allowed here as 7,840, showing that this error has increased the credit side of the trial balance. This is one of the problems that caused the discrepancies in the trial balance. By debiting the discount allowed account with 7,840 in the journal, we place discount allowed of 7,840 here before we do the journal entry. So we now credit the suspense account with 7,840 resulting from discount allowed. So we credit the suspense account with discount allowed of 7,840 because this amount has led to the increase on the credit side of the trial balance. So in the journal, we debit the discount allowed 7,840 and credit the suspense account 7,840. Then our narration is being discount allowed not posted to the discount allowed account ledger, now corrected.